Right, you're watching Battle of Champions, our special on the T20 World Cup. Now remember, this is the final game of the Super 12 stage at the T20 World Cup. It is featuring India and Namibia. It's a dead rubber because both teams are out of contention as far as the semi-final spot is concerned, but plenty to gain for both teams. For India, they would be looking to finish this tournament on a high. They have a series versus New Zealand in just a few days' time, so they'd love to get up for that. On the other hand, Namibia, a lower ranked team, for them an opportunity to beat a big team like India as an opportunity that they wouldn't want to let go at this moment. Sunil Gavaskar will be joining us, building up to this particular game. We'll also look back at India's campaign at this T20 World Cup. But first, let's take a closer look at this encounter. Remember, these two teams have never met in a T20I International, as well as you have to go back to 2003 for the last time these two teams played an international match.
A massive 66-run victory against Afghanistan. And then an 8-wicket win over Scotland, where India chased down the target in just 39 deliveries. But all that came too little too late. Those victories against minnows may not mean anything, as India are now out of that race for a place in the semi-finals. They still have a game to play against another low-ranked team, Namibia, and expect a few more records to be broken by this famed Indian team. India had optional practice on Sunday evening, but when Afghanistan lost to New Zealand, they decided to call off that session too, and expectedly so. For India to get past Namibia will not be a problem, but the past, where India had two bad games against Pakistan and New Zealand, will be a problem that should rankle them.
Top class.
There were decisions taken in the lead up to the tournament that may have gone against them, and then the big guns failing on the big occasion that cost them a place in the semi-finals. An early exit may not be the end of the world for India, but it could still be the start of a new beginning in T20 cricket, a format where India is still catching up with the top teams.
Getting reports that
Sports Bureau, India Today.
Formation of due.
Right, joining us on the program is Sunil Gavaskar. Sunil bhai, considering it's a dead rubber for India, would you like to see a few youngsters given a go here, especially the likes of Rahul Chahar? Hasn't played a game in this tournament. Ishan Kishan played that one-off game.
Definitely, yes. I think you're absolutely right with the one-day series, a T20 series against New Zealand starting in about a week's time. It's important that some of the guys who haven't had a go, like Rahul Chahar, should play in the game against Namibia. Give them some game time. Ishan Kishan, Varun Chakravarti, even Shardul Thakur, give them some game time so that if they do well in this game, they are confident taking on New Zealand on the 17th of November.
Right. So anyway, it's funny that I say it's a dead rubber. It can't be a dead rubber for a team like Namibia because, for them, an opportunity to beat a top-ranked side like India, that would be, a motivation enough. So you'd reckon, would be fired up for this encounter?
Absolutely. I think for them to do well is so important because it gives them confidence for next year as well. Because what they would have learned from this year's T20 World Cup, they will need to, take the positives out of it, give themselves the opportunity to get better from some of the areas that they think that they need to improve, and so they can put in a much better performance in Australia next year because they've qualified directly. We know that Namibia have qualified directly for that World Cup. So yes, I think playing well against India will be just the kind of boost that they need.
All right, I'm just looking for context for the Indian team. One context that really stands out, this is going to be the last game as captain for Virat Kohli in a T20 international for India. You reckon the players would want to give him a nice farewell as a captain only, because of course he's going to continue as a player, and then he himself would want to sign off on a high by scoring a big one here?
Yes, I think when you play for India, you want to do well just about every game. So the fact that this is going to be the last one as captain for Kohli and also for Ravi Shastri and his support staff, the team would certainly want to put their best foot forward and end up with a big win, massive win today.
All right, let's talk about Virat Kohli now on our program. As I mentioned, this is going to be his last game as captain in a T20 international for India. This will also be the 50th time that he will be captaining India in this particular format, making him only the second Indian to do so after MS Dhoni. So that's a record that he'll be looking at. Let's look back at his time as the T20I captain and the legacy that he leaves behind.
Virat Kohli will draw the majority of attention when India take on Namibia. With India's chances of making it to the semi-finals already over, the buzz now switches to Virat, who will be leading India for the one final time in T20 internationals. Arguably the best batsman of his generation, Virat will leave the T20 captaincy without an ICC trophy, having led India in 4 ICC tournaments, starting with the 2017 Champions Trophy, where India lost in the final. Virat may still have an opportunity to win the World Test Championship, but he can't be sure if he will get a chance to do that in white ball cricket, because his future as ODI skipper is also uncertain. Virat's record as T20 captain is not too bad, having won almost 64% of the 49 matches that he has led India in, which is better than even MS Dhoni, who led India in 72 T20 internationals. He won matches, he won bilateral series, 15 out of 17 to be precise, but still he had to give up his T20 captaincy. Perhaps what went against Virat was that he, or rather India, was unable to win a major trophy under his leadership, more so because he was given everything that he asked for. This T20 World Cup didn't go according to the plan, and Virat knows it well enough. It's the last game for King Kohli as skipper in T20 internationals and possibly in T20 cricket, since he has already given up his captaincy at his IPL franchise. Surely Virat would realize that he is walking away with some unfinished business. But who knows, this could be the start of Virat 2.0, a more dangerous version of Virat the batsman that we've all seen in the past. Sports Bureau, India Today.
All right, let's take a look at how the Indian team has performed under Virat Kohli, the skipper. We'll take a look at how the team has performed in T20I internationals, as well as how the team has then done, in fact, how the individual players have done under Virat. Now, these are India under Virat in ICC tournaments, and you take a look at that. Champions Trophy 2017, they finished as runners-up. Then in the World Cup, you could see in 2019, they lost in the semi-final to New Zealand. World Test Championship, we all know that India lost the final again to New Zealand. And then the T20 World Cup, that is this current edition of the T20 World Cup in 2021, India have been knocked out in the group stages of the competition. Now, just comparing Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni's captaincy, in fact, he's got a better record in T20Is when you compare it to MS Dhoni. And 49 matches, he's got 31 victories there in those 49 T20Is that he's captain. 16 losses, that puts his win percentage at 66%, which, as you can see, is a shade better than what MS Dhoni got as captain of the Indian T20I team. All right, also taking a look at India's performance under Virat Kohli, and this is in the T20 World Cup. You saw they lost to Pakistan by 10 wickets, then to New Zealand they lost by 8 wickets, versus Afghanistan, that was a big victory by 66 runs, and then versus Scotland, won that game by 8 wickets, but that was never going to be enough because India needed to win at least 4 encounters in this group. They still have 1 match remaining. Even if they were to win that, they would still notch up just 3 victories, which means New Zealand and Pakistan with more wins have gone through. So this is what the semi-final lineup looks like at this edition of the T20 World Cup. The first semi-final will feature England, the team that topped Group 1, taking on New Zealand, that have finished second in Group 2. That is going to be played on November the 10th in Abu Dhabi. The second semi-final is going to feature Australia and Pakistan, to be played on 11th November, and that match is coming your way, will be played in Dubai. All right, other than Virat Kohli, the other star that India has at the moment in its team is Rohit Sharma. And this is Rohit Sharma talking about all the Instagram stories that he put out, the meaning behind them. This will also help you to get Rohit a little better.
This was a must. Look at the legendary Rishabh Pant here. You know, I'm sure you know Basha.
Of course.
Indian rapper.
Indian rapper.
I mean, look at him. He looks very similar to him. And, you know, I never noticed because I've been knowing Rishabh for a while now.
Yeah.
And then on that particular day, he was wearing those sunglasses. And that actually made me confirm that, you know, he's a doppelganger. But you can make out, look. I mean, I got a lot of comments on that.
Let's look at this one. That's you and your little one?
Yeah, this was during lockdown actually. This is the place where we live. So, I mean, like, yeah, we were just going through very hard times, and you know, for kids to know not to go out and be at home was very frustrating. So, as soon as they opened up a little bit, we just straight away jumped onto that trampoline and started having fun. And look at her, look at the joy. Like, she was over the moon, knowing what is happening. Oh, there's a world outside like this.
Yeah.
So she was overjoyed.
Okay, let's look at this. Do you know what anniversary this was?
No, this was not an anniversary. We were on the honeymoon. This was in Nice. It was not just after our marriage. We got some time after the IPL in 2016. And so I finally took my wife on honeymoon because I got married in December, and then 7 or 8 days later I was on a tour. And then there was a World Cup coming up. We got some time after the IPL and we went straight on our honeymoon. This was south of France, yeah.
Here's a reminder that India will be playing their last group encounter at this T20 World Cup versus Namibia. The shot we will be showing you what happens in the toss in a short while from now, but for the moment let's give you some stats here that this will be the first time India and Namibia will play against each other in this particular format. The last international fixture between the sides was in the 2003 ODI World Cup. Remember, in this particular tournament Namibia have won 3 matches, which makes them slightly dangerous. The other thing that makes them dangerous is that they've got a host of left-arm seamers, and that may just come handy versus this Indian team, because remember, India have averaged less than 15 and have scored at only 5.7 per over against left arm pace in the power play. This is since 2020, so that's a stat that will worry the Indian team. We saw how Pakistan got the better of them as far as those left arm pacers are concerned, and Namibia have plenty of them. So that's an encounter to watch out for. The other thing that you know, Indian fans would be looking forward to is probably a few youngsters given a chance. Ishan Kishan has only got that one game, may get another opportunity. Rahul Chahar hasn't played a single game in this tournament, may get a run in this last encounter. Also, Virat Kohli's last game as the T20I captain for India. So plenty to look forward to. I'm afraid that's all that we could pack into this edition of our show. We'll see you at the end of the match.